This show is a member of the Sorgatron Media Podcast Network. Find out more at sorgatronmedia.com. This show is brought to you by Slice on Broadway, supporting Pittsburgh podcasting with the perfect pepperoni pizza. Production services by Sidekick Media Services. And listeners like you, supporting us at patreon.com/AwesomeCast. Time to get geeky, get awesome. It is the AwesomeCast. I'm Mike Sorg at Sorgatron in the Sorgatron Media Studios in Pittsburgh, Pennsylvania. Ready to go, not in a hotel room. We're not doing that allegedly for a while. So the season is over. We're back at it. And with us, she's here for the AC, stayed for the podcast. It's Katie Dudders.
Hi.
With your new friend.
Katie Dudders.
I made them infinitely cooler.
Yes, you did. If you're on the audio version, there's a little lizard on the side. Oh no! It's here for a wrestling show reason, and it's Katie's buddy now. Actually, the iguana. What was it? Was Walter the name? No. What did we end up with a name on that thing? Oh, I forget now. Hank the iguana. Joined us for our trip last week to Formula SAE, and we'll get into that with our
Thing of the week.
So we did Formula SAE EV. That's the electric vehicle version of it last week. Katie, you were there for that as well. You were in a new position for that, actually.
Yes, I am usually in a photographing position, the photographer, and this time I got to partake in the video team. And was kind of the PA running around and supporting our on the move highlight videographer and home base and every other videographer in every position ever.
Yeah, well, yeah, you ended up like shifting because the week shifted. Like, somebody more important to us needed a golf cart, so. I guess you're the person doing this now. So kind of stuff. But, there's a lot of moving parts on there. The stream's this is actually the first time when we streamed the EV event. We've done in some capacity over the last 2 years, the IC event, the internal combustion, ICE. I heard it referred to as both over the week, the last couple of weeks. I don't know if I just didn't notice it because until current events, but like everybody kept saying Formula Ice, and I'm just like, do we call it this? Have we always been calling this? And I never noticed, and it's just like has a different connotation now because of world events. But anyways, either way, not here nor there. But it was so it's relatively the same, except the endurance is not as big, I guess, and it's all on one side of the track, so which made things mostly easier, I think. So. But no, we had a lot of fun with that and put that together. So if you guys are not familiar, Katie, what you were like the person of many jobs.
Yes.
This week.
We were commenting on how much I've learned through osmosis. I am not a video person. I'm barely a photographer person, let alone a video person. And how many things I've kind of learned along the way. Like when wrestling shows, when I'm on productions with you all, I do the audio. I know that very well. I can set up audio like a champ now.
Really good at setting up the commentary table.
Thank you.
Yes.
So now this was like the first time I was really into the video parts of things. And it was funny, like, because you would ask for certain things because we were there a couple of days earlier than the rest of the crew to get things set up, do the first couple of days of shooting with doing the interviews and the just kind of getting some of the stuff with the sponsors. And so we were getting things set up for our crew. And you were asking me to hand you things. And I was like, I know what that is. I know what this does and how this goes together. So it was a lot of fun for me to like, oh my gosh, I do know more than I realized I knew, which was super exciting. And
and help out with things like commentary testing, for instance, while we're setting up the backdrop for SAE and everything like that. There's some of the crew in action over there. So
I was at the table with Cotton. We were talking about the Ocho.
Yes. It's a Dan Sweeney who does a lot of really awesome stuff. And there's a little behind the scenes kind of during it as well here of how this is actually, I think, the first day. And that's actually one of our friends from Rivian who helped provide the Italian ice later on those hot days. But yeah, we were in a tent pretty much in the middle of MIS, Michigan International Speedway. Amanda over there in the corner was doing social media or managing the chat room basically, and then did it from home the next day because she was done for the time being. We kind of had a lot of fun with that. Again, with a lot of sponsors dropped in, like the Rivians, the Teslas, the Cummins was in there, Oshkosh. SolidWorks, and we had a lot of fun with that, and that's always really cool. And then the endurance day, which was a good 30 cars of the 86, I think, passed and made it to endurance. That seems like a low number, but with the EV, they're even this year even more stringent. It's a lot more for them to do because they're building usually the batteries, which we've seen issues in the past.
Yeah.
But yeah, it's still a pretty cool experience. We were able to get 3 cameras on the track again, and we're still using those Holyland Cosmo units, and they most had some issues the first morning. We had some major issues the first morning. We couldn't figure out what was happening. Everything's set up the way we were doing it. We did testing the day before, and it's an educational thing, and we kind of take notes, and so we can make things a little more solid because we don't have this environment all the time like we do weekly with wrestling, right? Like we can do it in there, and it's pretty good, but figuring out on the speedway now for the third time, you always find new things that are going to go sideways, and we're continuing to try to get a little stronger so we can do Baja and everything like that. But I think we delivered pretty well, and had a good hundreds of people at a time, thousands of views on that thing, and we streamed probably about 12 hours over 2 days, not including the award ceremony and the design and everything like that we usually do, which is a little more stripped down. But no, I think it was pretty decent. Katie, what did you learn from this week?
Oh gosh, things should be higher than the buildings.
Yes,
yeah.
That's one thing. Yes, you're talking about the wireless.
Yes, the wireless. I think 2 things I learned. That radios that should not interfere with things will interfere with things.
That was a weird one.
Unexpectedly, in the weirdest ways. We are at an NASCAR track, and we talk about this, and there's so many things. There's just things and transmitting constantly because this is an active. People watch this on TV. They track the cars. Just I can't even imagine the amount of tech in that place. So that stuff's kind of hanging out there. Then you got the students and their cars and their transmitters, and it just the thing on cell phones, like the number of cell phones and who's on a Wi-Fi, it just grows and grows, and there's just all this interference. And one of the problems we ran into was we couldn't figure out why it kept flashing, and it turned out that it was our walkies.
Yeah, we were testing with a longer SDI cord, and we were narrowing down, okay, what's wrong with this? And I was like, Kitty, every time I talk to you on the radio, it goes black. It flickers, right? And then we narrowed everything. I was like, it's got to be the cord, and that seems impossible, right? And we never had a problem with it, to my knowledge, the rest of the weekend. Over using the radios. So that was kind of an interesting wrinkle. And we think it was a problem with the cords. We're going to test with those cords and see if there's any further issues with them. But it's something I've never run into. So it was really kind of fascinating. But then one of those cords worked fine on the last day. So, and they were all we had, and there were spares and everything. But it's weird, So we'll be extending setup. For one thing, for next year, to just have more time to go through. Like I'm calling it, my pitch for next year is to do the day before is going to be an entirely tech dress rehearsal where we set up every camera, where it's going to be, stress test everything for a couple hours, basically, and just know that we're good the next day. So. That's one thing you learn. There's a second thing you said you learned too.
Yes, it's fun working with folks who think kind of similarly to we do. We're constantly problem solving. You much more than everybody because you're constantly figuring things out left and right, and being able to problem solve as a group. For example, we talked about having the transmitters up higher. At one point, we extended a tripod as high as we could extend it flipped it sideways and clamped the transmitter.
Mm-hmm.
And then it was like, okay, this is good. And then somebody was like, oh, we can't use, we didn't want to damage the plate because it's like at the cork top. And so it was like, oh, zip tie it onto the tripod. And we're like, absolutely. So it was just like everybody was thinking of something different and just building and like figuring these things out.
And that's really cool because like I'm stuck in a tent, for the most part. I have to run the show. And you guys are out there like doing that and on the same vein and coming like there's problems. There's literally a point where I was like, everybody take a picture of your setup because I don't know what you've done out there to make this work. And we need to catalog this for when we do it next year. So there was like, oh, we did this and attached this here. And then we ran a cord and put it on this fence because we can't do all the signals won't go through that giant fencing, that protective fencing that's on the NASCAR track. Right. So and there's a secondary fence to keep spectators away from the track when there's cars running on the oval, right? On the big NASCAR day, because they do like people camp and stuff on the infield, right? So like there's that whole situation, and it was like, okay, where did you put it? Where's that at? Where were you at? Boom, 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 boom. Because it's a developing process as we go, and you really don't know. You can do all the preparation, and you really don't know until it's show day. And what works, because there's so many competing technologies with stuff like this, so I mean we've seen okay, all the internet tests fine, and then people walk in, the fans start walking into a building, and you just watch all the connection drop on your Wi-Fi because they have an open Wi-Fi for some reason. I always saw this in Split Rock Resort up in the Poconos. There was Verizon was the only cell that worked, and then there was an open Wi-Fi in the hotel. Guess what happened? Oh no, he just sent me the graphics an hour before the show. Oh no, that's getting slower. Like, well, hopefully I get the later main event graphic by the time they go on. Like stuff like that would happen. But between the two of them, like the show relatively worked fine because you don't need that much data to push an HD show out, and it's compressed and all that kind of stuff. So
I think you also really did a great job stress testing your equipment and the cameras we rented and all of these things, because we were out in 90-degree weather on concrete we're on track the whole time. And never like we didn't have any issues with the equipment in regards to the environmental.
I'm usually pretty good with that. The only time that I've been stressed on that was I was worried about it was when we were in 150-degree weather back in Vegas coming out of COVID, because we had to do it in July for some reason in Vegas. Oof. That was like to the point where grabbing my metal tripod was too hot to the touch to move it. Which was problematic, which we had a problem because we left it in the car one time. Yes. At Baja. And we're just like, oh no, it's where the windows. That's why I kept keeping the tripod behind the car, outside the car, because I'm like, I'm not leaving it here, so. But yeah, so it was really, really kind of interesting. We tried some new things. Some of it worked, some of it didn't, but, kind of dealing with, and you're outside, you're dealing with the weather. Thankfully, it was only sunny for this. But even to the point where when it gets windy, that thing jostles around and we start losing signal, So it was like, well, how do we make that a little more secure, and you still can't secure the antennas, what they catch the wind and things like that. So I'm really kind of curious how to do that. Are there better systems? We have a few ideas in mind we're hoping to test here in the next couple months. So it was really, really interesting. So that's kind of our, we executed this thing. We're in a tent in the middle of a field, and we got to I think we were a 90% success for most of it, for all the issues that we have that first day. My biggest thing is to eliminate the issues the first half of the day. Yeah. Because that's two events. Last time we were dealing with a storm that jostled all of our stuff, and we were still recovering from that. And so at least we had like a very good reason to have those issues that we know and can pinpoint. Like this time it was like, I don't know, what the difference was, but thankfully, this event, that first half of the day is so slow. Yeah. There were like 5 cars that were good to go that morning. So there really, like, there were some complaints, but you're not really showing the cars. I'm like, there really wasn't much to see. Yeah. So we got to think about how we do that. Mom Sorg is in the chat room and asks, is that on Katie's shoulder, is that a new employee? Yes. Yes. Yes, that's Hank the lizard. Hank
My new
Iguana.
boss.
Yep. Yes. I love it. Looks like he's
Ready
in the microphone as well,
yes.
ready to talk as well.
He's got opinions about
Yes, he does.
videography.
Yes. Katie, what is your awesome thing of the week?
My awesome thing of the week is Lego Education Spike Prime. Let me tell you how I got into this, first of all.
Okay.
I was playing Animal Crossing before I came over with my niece, and I was telling her I had a podcast tonight. And I said, I need something awesome, or I need something tech or something
I
awesome.
love your fishing your niece for this stuff. now.
Yes. I was like, I have a podcast coming up next. And I was like, do you have something? What's the podcast about? It's like either something awesome or something tech. And she's like throwing out things. What about coding? What about this? And I said, well, it kind of has to be more specific, something I will talk about. And she's at robotics camp, which is the coolest thing ever. And I'm quite jealous of that.
You
And
mentioned that. I was really jealous the other day.
I know. Whole week of robotics camp. And this is what one of the things they're using there is this Lego Education Spike. And I have to make sure it's the Prime set because there's different age groups, and Prime is the one that she's in.
Primary school.
Yes.
Right.
So like grades 6 to 8, ages 11 to 14. And these are STEAM, like science, technology, engineering, arts, and mathematics. Like this is what they fall under. And so essentially it's like it combines Legos with a programmable hub and intuitive coding language based on Scratch. And what you can do with it is it's a lot of hands-on learning, intuitive coding. So they're learning coding. They're learning different like world, this is this apply to the real world. And like just there's a lot of resources, lesson plans, it's a lot of experimentation. So they're learning what works, what doesn't work. And the specific thing she was telling me they were doing today is they built a dog, and dogs are colorblind. So the dog was identifying colors. If it was, I think it was like yellow, and the dog would just respond by barking. You're like, okay. It was blue, and the dog would respond by barking. And then it was red, and the dog said red. So it was determining, which colors this dog could see based upon the programming. And it was like, that's such a cool concept of being able to get something to do something like this. And just, they're building robots. They're building just these amazing things. And they're, these are based on, they've got apps. And I cannot believe that there's so many cool things out there now for kids to get into coding, robotics, like any of this stuff that like we didn't learn about. So we were so much older. And now they're like, oh yeah, I'm just coding this robot to do this or this.
It's just second nature now, right? That they're doing that stuff like that. That is so cool. That is something I do wish I had. I mean, I don't think there was a lot of chance for robotics back in my day and age, but man, that would have been like, I don't remember a lot of like really kind of high end STEM stuff. Not high end, but you know what I mean? Like a push for that STEM. I guess we had. I don't know. I guess we made kites or something back then, right?
Yeah, there wasn't much.
Hey, go the Leaf Project. Hey, did you have a dreaded Leaf Project in your school?
Oh yeah.
Like it was like the oh my god, how am I going to do this? Like that was the first scary project in like the I don't know, the 8th grade maybe for us. It was just like, this is the thing that's going to fail my career. So and completely didn't do well with it at all. So but either way, but yeah, no, it's I don't know, it's interesting. It's that's very cool. So
this is the first it's the one of the first things on there. It's the animal alarm. And they're learning alarm, cause, color sensor, creature, effect, and react. And that was the thing where they were training. That was the specific ones. I was like, oh, this is the alarm and
is this
colors. Yeah.
Is this the park set?
It's the let's see. I'm trying to find the Prime. I might have to send it to you on a different. Oh wait, I keep ending up like that's the only issue I keep running into is it takes you to the are you prepared to do this? And I'm like, no, because I'm just trying to get to learn more about what you're doing. And let me just send it to you over in text land. Oop, oop. But if you scroll down, it is never mind, it's not even on there. Oh, I don't even know what page I'm on. See, this is where I'm running into issues. Lego, I'm confused. And obviously, I need to learn more about STEAM and STEM because I can't find things on a website. But yeah, so this is, there's different programs and they're working and they are building off of last year, the robotics camp started a robotics. There was a movie with a robot, and this year is the sequel. And not sure, what's happening with that yet. They're getting into that. So, but yeah, this is fantastic. I love this, and I love just being able to do. There's like a camera on this guy. He's definitely reading and looking at things, and I love it. But yes, so it comes highly recommended by my niece. This whole thing and robotics camp as a whole, she's really enjoying it, which is super cool.
Love it. She's completely into the tech. She's going to be her dad's a bit of her dad's an education, what a teacher, researcher, or something at Penn State, depending on what year it is, right?
Yeah.
So she kind of has a good basis going into this. No, that's really cool, and hopefully it becomes more accessible at more schools and stuff like this. So, but yeah, very, very cool. So
yeah,
awesome,
and she can enjoy it. We can live through her.
Absolutely. Wait. I mean, that is the precursor to what becomes, what we see in Formula, because that's, again, college students doing that and building these things, right? We talk about SAE has AWIM and other platforms for the school age kids. So they've gone in, they've built jet toys and things like that, over there. So, with the balloons that go,
That's our sound. Balloons.
It's so much fun. Still, my favorite thing was when we did, it was the first Auto Drive Challenge workshop we did here in Pittsburgh. And we did it PodCamp style, if you're familiar with that. Like that was a model. Like the person was like, I love PodCamp. I want to do that for this. And it's become something else since other organizers have taken it on. But they had the college students do the jet toys like they do for the kids, and like all the sponsors, like the General Motors people and everybody, like got into it too. And I have some footage somewhere. And every time we because we never got the kids doing it because we were supposed to do it, and then COVID happened, and they like needed something for a video. I'm like, well, those are the jet toys, but there ain't kids doing them, so like, just adults from companies and the students and things like that. But still, it's a very, very cool thing. I love this stuff, and there's more. Seems to be the more options and opportunities happening day to day here on these kinds of things. So it's very, very cool. So awesome. Well, hey, also awesome are our Patreon supporters at patreon.com/awesomecast. Everybody supporting the show, making it go on. That's why we're justified paying for Riverside for a month to to do our mobile. By the way, I tried to cancel Riverside today.
Oh no.
And no, it's not. No. They did hey, there's some new features coming up, but we want to catch them. Would you like 2 months free? And I'm like, I don't know if I'll use it, but okay. So I got Riverside for a couple months. So I might be using that for some, I don't know. Maybe we'll do fishing without bait on it, so it looks a little better or something like that. So, but either way, thank everybody that does support the show. Patreon.com/awesomecast. We do, since we're back in studio, we'll do a little bit of Patreon afterwards. We might have a wrestler coming in the middle of it, so it might get interesting. Usually we kind of talk about things that are less awesome. Maybe we'll talk about the Tesla robo-taxis on Patreon, for instance. Might be a good place to do that.
Yes.
The things we've been finding, and we were talking to people at Formula about that. But anyways, and I'm like, we're talking about it. It's like, should we be talking about this here? Like, they're right over there. I can see them. But either way, I thank everybody to support the show. Brian Crawford, Cynthia Klosky, John DeGore, and Dave Ponder. Thank you guys for supporting the show through that. Really do appreciate all of that. It does keep the servers running. It makes it a little easier for running the show and everything too. So it's a little more than just our passion getting us here from week to week. So, and the air conditioning. So
yeah, it's true.
Too. But thank you everybody for that. Also means that it's time for Chachi's Video Game Minute. Let's go.
Hey kids, welcome back to the Chachi Says Video Game Minute. It's a slow news week this week, so here's the news I found that can fit in under a minute, and I can take my time. Netflix has optioned the movie rights for classic groundbreaking game Dragon's Lair. The movie will be directed by James Bobbin and produced by Ryan Reynolds, but as of yet he won't have a role in the movie. There's no cast and production schedule at news otherwise. And ChatGPT was embarrassed in a chess match. A Citrix engineer put the AI model up against an Atari 2600. The 90-minute match left ChatGPT flustered, requesting several restarts throughout the match, even going as so far as to come up with excuses, blaming the loss on the graphics. Talk about a sore loser. That's all the news I have for you this week on Chachi Says Video Game Minute. We'll see you next week.
Thank you, Chachi, for that Dragon Slayer show. I'm kind of interested to see what that looks like, because that's always been such an interesting, quirky kind of show. I remember the cartoon a little bit too, back in the day too. Am I imagine there was a Dragon Slayer cartoon, right? Am I imagining that?
I thought
right. Wasn't there?
There was definitely a video game.
There was a video.
Oh,
game.
now I'm not.
Well, the
sure.
video game was a video game. That was Dawn Bluth. Wait, wasn't there a series? Oh, hold on. I got.
Oh no! Now we have to look, because I definitely do.
I feel like there was. Am I crazy? There was. Okay, Hanna-Barbera did one. So it wasn't Dawn Bluth.
Good.
So it probably wasn't as high quality as, say, like, yeah, for 4.5 hours on YouTube, you can watch the complete series, by the way. But again, it's Hanna-Barbera. It doesn't look as good as the video game, I'm sure. Oh, I'm actually looking at it right now to see. Oh no, I'm out of memory over here. Oh yeah, it doesn't look nearly as good as the video game, because the video game was straight Dawn Bluth. It's All Dogs Go to Heaven. It's Land Before Time. It's, you know, that kind of stuff. And so it's got that higher quality to it. I'm going to go on a Dawn Bluth marathon here in the near future, I feel. So hey, side note, this is a I'm gonna hold on to this. I just found an app that has a memory leak. And maybe we'll talk about that later too. Katie, you have a follow-up to Dave Podner last week in some app that he was showing us. You were experimenting with this over our time last week.
Yeah, so while we were at Michigan International Speedway, Dave had brought up Project Indigo, which is an Adobe app that's in, they're just testing it out right now. And I wanted to give it a go. Essentially, it combines a whole bunch of images at one time and then gives you this really crystal clear photo. And I was, especially low light or distances and zoom and things. And I wanted to give it a go on race cars. Essentially, let's if we're going to test something, we're going to go all in on this. And I had definitely taken a handful of photos while we were there. And this is my phone. This is my phone. Taking pictures of moving vehicles, and which weren't terribly close to me. I'm across the NASCAR track. It's like I looked and I was like, a NASCAR track is 40 to 65 feet wide, and if you zoom in on them, you can see faces. Like, that's how good. Like, either in the crowd or.
I'm not going to count this because these were sent over iMessage.
Oh,
yeah. They'll not be the highest of quality. But plus, you guys are also going to be very crunchy because if it's coming over the stream too. So, but
you can see faces. Like, I literally could see faces in the crowd. I could see drivers' eyes in their helmets as they're driving by. And like, this shot here is incredible because you can see everybody. And so, but I thought it was incredible. It did a very cool job. And there's your eagle.
Yeah.
Eagle. The only thing that was a negative for me was, it was warm out and I have a black OtterBox case. So I was, because it's taking all these photos and there's a process, there's definitely a lot of processing happening here. And these photos are very large. My phone would overheat and it would tell me it would take longer to process. So there wasn't, you couldn't photo. You'd have to kind of photo and then photo. And there's definitely, for all the ones where I got the car and the frame, there are plenty where I just got the nose or the back, because it's not there's a little bit of a pause. So getting the timing down. And like I said, my phone kept over. Be like, oh, we're a little hot, so this is a problem. But besides that, it's wonderful. I think I'm definitely going to give this another try when we're out at Boom on the Bridge.
I'd be very interested because I know I have issues when we get to the dark part of the night, and I may just retrofit my iPhone to be ready to shoot video for the for the actual firework part of the night too. I'm thinking about because there's a video. No, this is all photos too. So maybe that'll be worthwhile to do. So because even as it is, we had an issue where the award ceremony went so late, it went past sundown. So by the time we got to that last group that got first place, it was insanely dark. The camera's not made for low light that we use. And so I just pulled out my iPhone to get footage that I could use in those highlights because I was like, I'm not resurrecting this. We're going to use a phone. actually do horizontal this time
Mhm.
so that we have it, because I just knew. And again, it's a what are we, 16 Pro Max, so
Yeah.
we know that the video quality is really good, and we use it a lot. It was really cool to see my stuff go out. Somebody else edit these interviews for the live stream that we did the first day we were out there, and it was like, these are really good. Oh wait, I shot this with an iPhone, kind of stuff. So I was really, really appreciative of that. Also, we got to get Roberto on the show, by the way.
Yes.
He's amazing. He's out in California. We hung out with him the last Formula. Bless you. The Formula event in May, and you just sneeze the lizard right off of your.
Yeah.
Okay, there you go. He's backwards. What was I even getting at? I don't remember
Roberto,
anymore.
he's cool.
But no, he does fantastic edits, and he even like went in, and we didn't get people saying the questions, so he like pulled our audio and threw subtitles in and stuff, and used a random B-roll that I grabbed and everything like that. And I didn't explain much to him going into it, and because I just bandwidth kind of thing, and he just dropped these amazing things that there's maybe just slight things we clean up to like put call to action on or something like that to use. But it was really cool stuff. So, and we got to use it in the feed on Friday and Saturday. We recorded it Wednesday. One of them we had to do on Friday, so there's even less turnaround. So yeah, no, it was really cool to have that kind of workflow kind of worked into things. And I'm getting used to this idea that I don't have to be the person that touches everything.
Oh yeah,
which has been difficult for me. But I'm really liking the team that we're building, both on the SAE side and on the Sidekick side, and the way we're collaborating together. But either way, very cool. So Project Indigo was your app there, and a lot of we'll hopefully report some results there next week as well. So Katie, I saw you already were kind of had this other one kind of selected, this other story here that I feel that was right up your alley. I found a little bit before the show. So the headline goes, the newest Alamo Drafthouse is the world first Godzilla cinematic experience. So this is up in Santa Clara, I think it is, California. It's up there near like San Jose. So it's in the Bay Area. Of course. Which I think the Bay Area was the victim of the first legendary Godzilla movie, if I'm not mistaken. so they're going to have very special Godzilla programming kicking off today. A new merchant programming across all the whole chain, actually, with a multi-year deal they're going to have with Toho, who presides over the license for that. They have a menu, Katie. Did you see this menu?
Oh, I started into the merch first.
Oh, of course you did.
Yes. Now I'm looking at the menu.
Okay.
Ooh.
Yeah. What's let's see. You got Tommy's Margarita, Gin Bug, the Gorilla Punch, a Tokyo Tea, so kind of thing. Oh, well, here's the merch here, right? Okay, there you go. Alamo X Godzilla. There. Oh, those are pretty cool.
Yeah, I like how this resurgence of like black, like the t-shirts or stickers or whatever with the neon on top. And
that's kind of what our Star Wars night merch was all neon Darth Vader and stuff like that, right? So like I love those things. So but
it's vintage 90s.
Vintage 90s, yes. So very, very cool. So another reason we got to get Katie to the Bay Area. Yep. That's been on the list for a while now. So they're having screenings throughout July, including Destroy All Monsters, Godzilla vs. Hedorah, and Mothra. So very cool. If you are in that area, hopefully this extent. I wish we could get a Drafthouse in Pittsburgh in general.
That'd be so cool.
Like it's that's the only thing that would get me off of the AMC. AMC Plus probably is that have that opportunity for something like that. So, but very cool. So, if you're around in Alamo, hopefully you'll get a little bit of that programming as well. So, Katie, have you seen the story about T-Mobile is integrating Starlink?
No, but this sounds very pertinent to your interests.
Yes, exactly. Because if anything we've had a problem with, it's service over the last few weeks. T-Mobile's Starlink satellite launches July 23rd. So this is kind of an add-on service. I think it's $10 a month, if I'm not mistaken. And what it's going to do, it's not everything. I don't think it's not taking your entire internet off of Starlink, but it's going to it's going to cover, like your text messages will come over this if you have low service, and then apps that are kind of prepared for it, like All Trails was listed here. Let's see if I can find that list again. All Trails, Google, WhatsApp, X, et cetera, will be kind of optimized for use over this. So, which that makes sense. All Trails you'll be using out, hiking or something, and I know, Katie, you've been in some remote areas when you've done your hiking that comes in handy, right? So, like when you go down into a gorge, you have access to that. So, so allegedly this is going to be like more than, we've had satellite emergency text through satellite before through our iPhones. It's been included for the last several years. This is kind of expanding upon that, and allegedly, I don't completely understanding. Everybody else, including AT&T and Verizon subscribers, can pay $10 a month for access. It'll roll out a free 911 for text, so even non-subscribers and regardless of your carrier can get it too. So it looks like we could add it on to between the two of us. We do have AT&T and Verizon, so like we could get on board with this too, which could be very helpful when especially when in SAE season.
Oh gosh,
for
yeah.
$10 to have some fallback, that's an easy business expense.
Yeah.
So,
because it is every time we go somewhere, it's all right, let's pull up speed tests, see who's got what, and it's so funny because a lot of times it'll be like, all right, I can upload things, you can download, but it like one or the other.
You're the one that's sending things. I'm the one that's just kind of over here, or we share a cup of internet between us, or whatever the case may be, right? Plus, we all have all the modems for the live use and everything too. So we were like, okay, throw these in if we got to do work, Plus, we had a very peculiar thing, and I wasn't the only one that experienced this, where we had 18, like we had no problems with ASL carriers on the Speedway in May. We just came back this past week, and AT&T was stuck at LTE and almost unusable regardless of what the bars were, and T-Mobile looked like it was having some troubles over the weekend as well. Again, full bars, terrible data. So, and it's not like, I don't think it's a capacity thing, because this is a NASCAR track. They should be, you would hope, have capacity for thousands of people that would be part of that event. But I don't even know if there was I don't think there was 5G Plus or Ultra Wave or anything when we were there before, which is also kind of surprising. But you know what? Actually, you know what probably happens, Katie, is they probably roll in support for a big event like this.
Oh yeah,
like there are like mobile towers that they'll bring in to support these big events, and then that way they don't have to shore up it for that one weekend a year when NASCAR comes to town.
Yes,
basically, because that's basically all that happens on that track at that scale that I'm aware of. So it's very, very interesting. So either way, you got that option. Look into that if you're going out remote, and it looks like by the end of July you'll have some options through T-Mobile to check that out. Side note, if you have T-Mobile, apparently DoorDash is going to be included at the starting next month too. So I have the perks because I have one modem, and I never, I kind of get bugged for it. I don't really get into it. I didn't know that I had special entrance at T-Mobile Arena in Vegas, for instance, that I could, like a loungy area I could have gone in, but the line was longer for that one. So, Katie, back to SAE and STEM, I guess. There was something that we discovered when we were on site with Formula with General Motors that I know you were very interested in.
So there is a new, essentially competition coming for SAE, and it is called the Civic Progress Challenge. And then the Civic Progress, the vehicle it looks like if you took two back ends of a van and put it together. But essentially what is happening, it's a virtual competition, and teams will be able to get these vehicles, and they're making them accessible, and how they would, how would you secure a wheelchair? What about the occupant restraints, seating, human machine interface? And they are going to integrate these into these vehicles, and hopefully learn more and more. And these could be things that we see out in the world, make things much more accessible. It's great.
Very cool. It's and my understanding is not even an in-person competition too. It's more or less a virtual one. Like they're going to submit their plans and things like that, and it's it's working on the mechanism of the car and trying to integrate it. I kind of call it a car. I kind of call it a car loosely as well.
Yes.
So this is the Origin driverless van. I was trying to look up because it was.
Oh yeah, I couldn't remember what it's called.
Because we talked about it. Well, I can't remember what she said either, but it was listed in the site that from there. But I was trying to find a picture so we can illustrate what these things are. So this is one of those. We've seen a version of this at M City before. So this is a driverless van, and the idea is like, and you open it up. I don't know if I can get a picture of the inside, but it's basically like chairs on either side and just no wheel or anything like that. So and there's nothing of the inside. So this is actually something that they halted the production on it. For some reason. I'm not sure the details of that. I'm sure it's in this article I just brought up. But also, so they've kind of reused it. Oh, here's actually an article from Reuters about, looks like this very competition, maybe? No. Oh, okay. So this is, I think this is an early version of this. Because this is about General Motors Cruise unveils wheelchair accessible robotaxi. Yes. Oh, that makes sense. This is probably part of the Cruise division, which got shut down in recent months.
Oh,
so that's probably why these things were kind of discontinued, because they've kind of been shaken up for their automated driving efforts over there at GM. I know they're I presume some kind of restructuring or something at this point, right? So, but they're obviously still moving. They have auto drive and everything. You're still looking at things, but obviously, it doesn't mean it's dead in the water. It just means that they're doing it a different way, probably. So business reasons and things like that. And so that's very cool. And I know you're very interested in that because I know you're always looking for the accessibility angle on things.
And yeah, this would be a great, especially if it's a driverless, and then you could just go where you need to go and not have to worry about getting a specific vehicle to come pick you up or having that specific vehicle yourself.
So Partner says, so for the Civic Challenge, there is a concept of a car. No, I think they're given one to work on, if I'm not mistaken.
That's what it sounded like.
Yeah, that was my kind of thing. Yeah, I think they were given the vehicle to work on and hack.
Because like I said, they could tear it apart. I
remember
that.
Yeah. So that was so they had one as a showpiece to get people into it. I know David talked about it a good bit on the live stream that we did over the weekend as well. Because what David's very into. Oh, I got to ask him how his print job in Canada went the next day, by the way.
Oh, yeah.
So, but anyways, yeah. And so it's very cool. And it seems like there's more and more of these programs coming out of there. They're not just the motorsports based ones that we usually attend and do work on for ourselves. So that's very cool that they have some other options coming through. So my mother is also about accessibility too. So there you go. Very cool thing. What else we got here? What else you want to talk about that's on this on this list here, Katie?
Well, this is a very exciting list. No, sorry.
I'm just making fun of my list.
No, this is very exciting.
It's a very nice list.
It is
what
a
are you
very
talking
nice
about?
List, or will you just let me go off topic or off your list for a second? This is something I don't have anything about because this is something that's in an active thing. If you have a Facebook group, it may have disappeared today. There was an issue with these very large groups, like for example, one of my Animal Crossing groups. It doesn't exist anymore, and it sounds. And I just got an email. I thought it was just random, and then I just got an email from somebody else whose community I'm in. Like it's an AI group, and they've also lost access to their groups. And it sounds like, from what other things I saw online, these bots are showing up in these very large groups and mass reporting the group and getting the groups shut down.
Oh no!
So if you have a group, I mean, it sounds like it's knock on wood. Larger than our communities, knock on wood. Make sure you're paying attention to your groups and what you got going on. And yeah, and they're trying to work with Meta right now. And like I said, it was like something it was weird. And then it's just more like, now I have another group that's involved in this. Now this is a third group. And I was like, oh, this is a thing.
So I'm wondering, because there's been issues for a bit now, because we'll get some basically like bots or something just dropping porn in our group. And then I start getting a notice that our group is against community standards.
Yes,
right.
That's
And okay, you get those all the time for the spams that make you try to click on things. But this was definitely something where, okay, but I'm not in the group enough to see it. I mean, enough, we interact in there, but usually somebody else kind of seeing it or something like that, right? So, but yeah, that I think that's two sides of the same problem, probably.
Yes.
So, this is the thing, man. A lot of these become, and this is why people want to quit this stuff, because it just becomes, if you're just a person that has a group for a thing, and you're not a tech person, you have a shop that sells things.
Yep.
You know, you have a shop. You're a beauty shop. You were like, well, I have to have a presence on Facebook, and then this is the stuff you have to deal with. Of course, you don't want to be a part of this. So, I think we're on what they call the, I don't know the word, the enshittification of things, because it's there, you have to be there, and you have to deal with the problems that go with it, and also you're targeted because you're there too. So it's a lot of issues, a lot of freaking issues in there. So watch out for your Facebook group. So there's no solution.
No, it sounds like they are talking, trying to work with Meta in regards to this, at least these couple groups that I've looked at. And we just lost our Facebook home. Let's regroup. And this is also a reminder we keep going back to, and I feel like we just like a broken records at this point, where this is why your email list is so important. This is why having a website is so important.
Yes.
Because these things go away in 2 seconds. Like that's it. You're done. If your group, that was your main way to connect with your audience, and you've got thousands of folks, and now you've lost that connection, which hopefully they're able to get back, and they'll work through this, but it's not a guarantee.
There's still a bump in the road for whatever your community was doing, and you're going to lose people. People are going to be like, oh, that's not there, and don't realize it's missing, especially if you're a very large group. So there's a lot of things vying for attention, and if that goes out the wayside, then what are you going to do about it? So that's unfortunate. That's very unfortunate. But we got good news for Windows 10 people.
Ooh.
Which is most of my computers, actually. Windows 10 users can get extended security updates for 1,000 Microsoft Rewards points, or you can just pay $30. So, yes, the end of support is going to be for Windows 10 security updates and things like that is going to be October 14th, apparently. And it looks like that means, but they did say that you can extend it now. I don't know why they did the lead of 1,000 reward points or anything like that. So there's that situation. But either way, you're not completely in the dark there when it comes to something like that. So, we got our next guest just came into the studio early. So we're going to have a fun Patreon with that. Yeah, give him the lizard to play with. There you go. Give him the lizard to play with. We'll have him pop in on the Patreon, maybe. Missy's in the back if you want to say hi.
With the lizard puppet.
With the lizard puppet. Yes, do it. So, I know we have a special guest for Mayhem show that's here earlier, so we're going to hang out in a little bit. And we're going to close the show in a couple minutes. Anyways, actually, I think I'm out of stories unless I'm missing.
I got something else for you.
Okay, go for it.
I feel like I'm the bearer of bad tech news, but things we have to pay attention to. There was a huge breach of passwords, and it was Google. It was pretty much anything major that you would probably use. I think Facebook, everybody was involved with these. A password just leak. And so it's change your passwords for one, and make sure you're doing that periodically. And then 2-factor authentication. Please.
16 billion passwords exposed in record-breaking data breach. Accessing Facebook, Google, Apple, and any other service imaginable. So I guess I gotta go through. So everybody needs to take a day and change their passwords. The good news is, I still use. Yes, I'm a crazy person who still uses LastPass, and if you go through, they have a security thing that checks you against records. If they find you on the dark web, basically they'll let you know and tell you, hey, go update your password, and they kind of make it pretty easy. Still, you got to sit there and do it. So either way, but yeah, that's gonna be an issue, especially if you are a group, for your client and things like that. That's probably something you should do too, because who knows what could happen at this point. So secure anything like that. Secure anything connected to important information. If everything goes through your Gmail, let's update your Google passwords and things like that. He says to himself when he doesn't know if he's going to find time to do that. But it's kind of par for the course right now in this digital world that we live in, unfortunately. So man, it does make you want to become a hermit, doesn't it? But this is where we're at. This is where we're at. Dudders, we got Boom on the Bridge this weekend. We'll be out and about in Beaver County, booming on the bridge apparently.
Boom on bridges.
And testing out apps as we're up there doing work. So either way, So anything else going on? Anything with 412 Thrive that's worth bringing up? Oh,
No.
got a confused face.
I was like, I don't
Wait,
think
you
so.
have no events for a change?
Yeah, I don't know what I'm doing with any of this. Someone please double check my calendar. If you have access to my calendar, please tell me where I am.
Well, somebody
supposed to
probably
be
does
and
now
when.
with that data leak. So
yeah.
maybe they can help you out with that.
Oh, that'd be really nice.
Yes.
Could you imagine? Well, hey, you're late for your meeting. Oh, thank you, random hacker.
Thank you, RoboFart69.
XXX.
XXX. There you go. You don't know if it's a hacker or a government employee at this point. But either way, enough of that. KatieDudas.com for the link tree and all the places to see Katie things.
Stuff, but not the lizard.
So not the lizard. Might have to give the lizard its own account. There you go.
Ah, he lost an arm. It's
what?
back.
Oh.
And it's back.
And of course, Sorgatron on all the social media, sorgatron.com, all that kind of stuff. And check out what's going on there. Follow us on the AwesomeCast on all the socials too. And let us know what you think of any stories and the clips we put out throughout the week. Thank you, everybody, for joining us. Thank you, Chachi, for the Video Game Minute. Until next time, you have been our awesome audience. Have an awesome week. This show is a member of the Sorgatron Media Podcast Network. Find out more at sorgatronmedia.com.
I'm Eamon.
I'm Merlin.
And we're a gay.
And his NB.
Are you a reality television connoisseur?
Do you like it discussed from an LGBTQ lens?
If so, A Gay and His NB is the podcast for you.
Hear us break down all your favorite guilty pleasure reality shows from Bravo, Drag Race, and just about everything in between.
Listen to A Gay and His NB on Apple Podcasts, Spotify, or wherever you listen to podcasts.